It is so crazy to think that so soon after the Sob Rock tour has ended, John is now on tour with Dead and Company, and there's a really interesting change that occurred with his pedalboard for this specific tour. Now, historically, the Dead and Company pedalboard has always been rather stripped down compared to his World Tour pedalboards. The only exception really being that the Search for Everything World Tour's Bradshaw rig was actually used for one Dead and Company tour. But other than that time, they've always been smaller versions of kind of the essentials of John Mayer's sound, just kind of tweaked in some different pedals to fit the Dead and Company vibe and sound he is going for. This pedalboard that John is currently using with Dead & Company is massive. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's one of the largest pedalboards I think we've ever seen him use in terms of the sheer number of pedals that is on a board. And if you guys remember, and what's kind of interesting with this whole scenario, is that when Dead & Company posted the rehearsal shot on their Instagram, John had the same board that was set up for the 2021 tour, but then he had pedals off to the side on the floor. And what I'm taking from this is that he was trying to figure out a way to fit more pedals on the board, or maybe even thinking if he needs to have just one extra one off the side, or he was experimenting with the whole setup and kind of realizing that he didn't have enough room on the board in order to get all the sounds that he wanted. Now this one here is substantially bigger, not just in the number of pedals that are on it, but in the physical size of the pedalboard as well. This one is the exact same pedalboard that John was using for the Sob Rock tour as well as the 2019 World Tour. This massive pedalboard, which I believe is about 40 inches wide and 18 inches deep, fits, as you can see, a ton of pedals, and there actually are more pedals on the Dead & Company pedalboard than there were on the Sob Rock tour board, which is rather crazy to me, which is why I'm like, this video has to be made and discussed. So as per usual, guys, I'm going to go ahead and break down the pedalboard, starting with the front row, the middle row, and then the back row. Now this is not the signal chain, I'm just going over how the pedals are physically placed. If more details come out for a signal chain video, I will make that in the future. So please hit subscribe if you want to be notified when something like that might be coming out, or other John Mayer pedalboard, Dead & Company, Sob Rock content. But let's start off with the first row. So we start off the pedalboard with an Ernie Ball volume pedal. After that is an exotic XW1 wah pedal. John was using the Lake Placid Blue Limited Edition with Dead & Company before, but now he's moved on to the white one, which is probably just the same one that he used with the Sob Rock tour. Next we have the TC Electronics Polytune 3 with a Bonafide buffer. That's the one John's been using for quite a while now, to be honest, and safe to assume that's the exact version he's currently using. Then we have the next section here, which is kind of like 3 boost pedals, essentially. It's the same setup that John used during the 2021 Dead & Company tour. It starts off with an exotic super clean. Then we have what is from JHS, essentially a Dumbleator clone. Now, my friend John Mayer Gear and Ryan Copeland kind of figured this out a while ago, so the post that John Mayer Gear did will be linked in the description below if you want to read more up on what this pedal is. But essentially it's a custom Dumbleator in a pedal. It has a blend function, so there's a pedal sitting in the loop of this pedal with a boost function as well. Kind of the details, exactly how John's using it with what effect, we don't know, but that's essentially what this pedal is. Again, if you want to read more up on it, it'll be linked in the description down below. Rounding off this little boost section, we have a JHS Prestige. So those 3 pedals were on the 2021 Dead & Company pedalboard in this exact same setup. Now the next pedal is a returning favorite, which it's absolutely phenomenal. It's the Mesa Boogie Flux 5. This pedal is ridiculous. I have one. It's super versatile and sounds phenomenal. And it's nice to see John bringing this pedal back out on tour with him. After that, you have the Ibanez TS10, followed by a Moog Expression pedal. Alright, now we're moving on to the second row here, and we have the Origin Effects Slide Rig. Seems to really be John's favorite compressor of late as well, pretty much since the 2019 World Tour. You have the Electro Harmonix Qtron Plus 8, staple for all John Mayer tones, Dead & Company and solo tour. Then you have an Octopus Mark II. You can tell it's a Mark II from the LED and the battery box on the front of the pedal. Then you move on to that blacked out Klon Centaur, which is just a Klon Centaur, nothing going on, it's just been painted black. Now something I just thought was really interesting with this pedalboard setup, especially with that second row, is that for the most part, John's always been able to fit all the drive pedals and boost pedals, stuff like that, on that front row of a pedal board. The fact that he has the clon and the slide rig on the second row is pretty crazy and just shows how much he is cramming onto this pedal board and how he's really developing his sound and all the different parts that go into the Dead & Company sound, especially on this tour. He has moved some drive pedals to a second row of a board before, but not like this, where it seems to be this is going to be just the standard going forward. It's pretty ridiculous just looking at this pedal board, how much he's got on it and everything that's going on. All right, now we're moving on to that third row. We start off with the 29 pedals Una, and then a pedal that's kind of difficult to tell. It's got one central knob with a couple buttons or something, it looks like. I genuinely believe this is the Source Audio Programmable EQ, the earlier version, not the newer one. You guys will see a shot on your screen as well, as you can see the back of the pedal that's on John's board, and it matches up pretty spot on with the back of the Source Audio EQ as well. So I think that's probably very likely what this pedal is. Then we move on to the Boss OC3, then we have an MXR Phase 90, the blacked out Boss CE2, the Providence Chrono Delay, the Strymon Flint, then finally a Boss tuner for the acoustics. And there you guys have it. That's John's pedal board for Dead & Company 2022. It's insane. There are more pedals on this pedal board than he had for the Sob Rock tour. It's ridiculous. I remember seeing screenshots of this and just thought, what the heck is going on here? This is ridiculous. This might be the biggest pedal board that John has ever done. Search for Everything pedal board was pretty ridiculous too, but between that or this, these are the two largest boards he's ever done. I think this is bigger than the 2019 World Tour in terms of just everything that's going on, all the moving parts and pedals. But props to John for using such a crazy pedal board with Dead & Company. It just goes to show that every tour, the sounds he goes for evolves and his tone with Dead & Company changes, and what he wants to do and how he wants to go with it. He's still evolving. And I was super happy to hear Bob Weir say that when it came out that this was going to be the last tour, that it was just a rumor. I was super happy to hear that because Dead & Company is just very interesting. It's a great chapter in John's musical career. It's a different animal for sure, not for everyone. But I haven't been to a show yet, and that's just something I would love to go and see, just to experience once, and just see this different side of music that John is involved in with, you know, the guys from the Grateful Dead. I think it's just crazy, but there you guys go. This pedal board is just nuts, and when I saw it, I was like, I just gotta make a video on this for you guys because it just blew me away to see something so crazy for Dead & Company, which we don't normally get. And there you guys go. Thank you as always so much for watching. Hit subscribe if you guys want to be notified with all future John Mayer pedalboard rig updates, stuff like that. Lots more coming out, and the Sob Rock pedalboard build is hopefully starting within a couple days here, so I got to film that. It's going to take a few days to build. That'll be a really awesome video, so I hope you guys enjoy it, and stay tuned for when that one comes out. But as always, thank you so much for the support, you guys, and we'll see you on the next one.
Anyway, go ahead and click the subscribe button if you like what you see.